Hello there and welcome back. In this video, we are going to take a look at a Python profiler, which is called Pyinstrument. And if you are familiar with profiling Python code, you may have come across with the C profile module, which is a built-in module of Python. And in this video, we are going to learn about how you can use Pyinstrument. So, what we want to do is to create a virtual environment and activate the virtual environment. And once this environment is activated, what we want to do is to pip install Pyinstrument. And if the installation is complete, we are going to open up another window and start NeoVim. So here we are going to create our first node, which is going to be called demo.py. And let's start writing our first code. So there are many ways that you can use Pyinstrument. Oh, I have a mosquito. And maybe this is the easiest example. So let's import Pyinstrument. And if you have a function that you want to profile, you would use the @Pyinstrument.profile. And let's say that we want to sum of million. This is going to be the function, and we return the sum of the numbers for range and 1 million. Let's save it. And if we go to the other window, we are going to have to activate our virtual environment, navigate to the folder, and we can run our code. But how do we run it? So when you install Pyinstrument, you get a new CLI. This is going to be the Pyinstrument CLI, and you would pass your script. And here I have a syntax error. The in keyword is missing. But now, if everything goes well, we should be able to run our profiler. So here you can see that no samples were recorded. To view this report with different options, please run. And this is the argument. So that's one thing. The other thing that we could do is to, for example, import the requests module. And here what we want to do for I in range 5, and basically use the request.get, and the URL is https google.com, and then return the true. So let's save it and run it. And we have to install the requests module. And once the installation is complete, we can run our example. And as you can see, this is how the output looks like. So it's similar to how the output from C profiler or C profile looks like in Python. And basically you can see broken down how many samples it had, what was the CPU time, the total duration, and basically the call stack. And there are many other ways that you can use Pyinstrument. For example, if you have a Flask application, you also have the option to profile it with it. So let's see how we can use it for the Flask application. We are going to go back to the code editor, and what we want to do is to create a new file. So flaky, come on, neovim, Pyinstrument add flaky.py, and let's edit it. So we can create a sample application the following way. From Flask, we have to import the Flask, the G, the make response, and the request. And we create our app instance with Flask. And after that, the app.before request. We define the before request function. And we say that if the profile is in the request.args, then g.profiler is going to be a profiler, and g.profiler.start. So for this to work, what we have to do is to use the from Pyinstrument import profiler, so that it will be able to know where that instance of profiler comes from, and at app after request. And basically what we want to do, if not has attr g profiler, then we return the response. Otherwise, the g.profiler.stop, and we want to create the output, which comes from the g.profiler.output HTML, and then return the make response output. So basically, what we did is to create a sample where you are able to pass the question mark profiler to a context route, and if it's present, it will profile it or the call. Otherwise, it will just return the response. So let's create a route. This is going to be the default context route, and we call this index, and we just return profiling is good. And then if the underscore name equals main, then app.run on 0.0.0, and the debug is true, and the port is 8080. So let's save it, and let's run our application. So flaky.py after request, good. Unexpected indent. What? Okay. Let's write it. Oh, come on. After request. All right. So now the application is running. Let's copy our URL and insert it in the browser. And after request, it should have an argument, which is called response. So now let's try to reload it. As you can see, profiling is good. And now if we go ahead and use the question mark profile, then we should be able to see the output. So let's go ahead and add some functionality from requests import get, and then we want to use the status code equals requests.get, and let's just pull it down a little bit. So https google.com status code, and we want to return this status code. Cool. So that was restarted, and now request is not defined. Pip install requests. It's already satisfied. What the hell? Requests. Aha. So basically, what I didn't take into account was that the get function was imported from the requests only. So let's save it and run the flaky. And here we can see that part, and the profile is going to give us this response. So unless you are doing something meaningful in the function, it will return nothing. Otherwise, it will give you the profiling of the request. And one last example is going to be how you can use it in Jupyter notebooks, because that's, I think, also interesting. So let's install the Jupyter modules. All right, that was installed. And what we have to do is to start the Jupyter notebook. Good. So why did it open that one? All right, let's do it in that one. Good. So we are currently here, and create a new IPython 3 kernel. And what we have to do is to issue the load extension Pyinstrument. And then we are going to go ahead and add the new cell. So, did it run successfully? Oh, already loaded. Good. So, Pyinstrument, and what we could do is to import the time module, and we want to call A, and from A we want to call B, and we want to define the B, and from B we want to call C, and we want to define C, where we want to use the time.sleep of 1. And then at the end of the day, call the function A. And as you can see, it was able to profile the code. So technically, it is a pretty versatile module. that allows you to profile code in many aspects of your Python development. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.